Winning Blueprint presents.
In the lab room.
Welcome. You are in the lab room. I'm your host, Luke. Thank you for joining me. It's Wednesday afternoon, which means it's Soul Survivor Day in the program. And this is a unique week. For the first time all season, there's no Thursday night game. So there's no team right now prepping for a game for tomorrow. Every team is starting their work week today, and they have a game either Saturday or Sunday. This is the first time this year we've had a Saturday matchup. We've got one. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But this week is unlike any week this season. There's no Thursday night game. There will be no Monday night game as well. A lot of different moving parts down the stretch of this season as things start to change. Games start to mean more. It's coming down to the finale. And so teams really got to strap it up. Today you start really figuring out who's going to be able to go. Are they going to be able to practice? Will they be a game time decision this week? Will they be held out? Who's got a concussion? Will they be able to pass their test to play on Sunday? A lot of things start to be ironed out come Wednesday and moving forward down the rest of the week. But you know what time it is in the program, in the lab room on Wednesdays. It's Soul Survivor Day. So let's get to who the Soul Survivor will be in Week 16 of the National Football League.
Everyone can pick, but only one can win. Are you the Soul Survivor?
Okay, so it's Soul Survivor time. You know how this goes. It's fast-paced. It's in your face. It's right to the point. We don't waste a lot of time. We don't waste a lot of words. You get to the game. I tell you a little bit about it. I don't give you analysis of the game. I just tell you why it's not a good selection or it is a good selection, and we move on. I give you the Soul Survivor pick of the week, and it's at your discretion whether you take it or not. But I've only been wrong one time this season, so it'd be in your best interest to listen to me because I get this right more times than not. I've only been wrong one time, and again, I haven't forgiven the New Orleans Saints for that yet. I'm not going to continue to talk about it because it makes me angry. So we're just going to get into who the Soul Survivor will be in Week 16. So let's get right to it. There's no Thursday night game, so we start on Saturday where we find the Atlanta Falcons traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions. The Lions were blown out on the road last week by the worst team in the league that I declared was the worst team in the league, the Arizona Cardinals. And so, again, I've already said it many times. You don't know which Detroit Lions team is going to show up. And they're at home. This team can score points. Calvin Johnson is chasing Jerry Rice's record for most receiving yards in a season. The Falcons are a team that, when they're home, they're dangerous. When they're on the road, they can be beat. They can be handled. So you don't know what you're getting here. I tell you this. This isn't the smart selection in this week. And I'm pretty sure by now you don't have the Falcons as a selection anyhow. So just continue down the sheet and see what you can find for a good Soul Survivor pick in Week 16. You look at the Sunday slate of games. The New York Giants are traveling to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. This game is ugly from the standpoint of these are two teams that are trying to find themselves down the stretch. Giants look good one week against the New Orleans Saints, come back and lay an absolute egg and have a dud, don't score any points on the road against the Falcons. So you don't know what you're getting out of them. Vice versa, you look at the Baltimore Ravens, they've lost 3 straight for the first time since who knows when. They have issues on the offensive end. They just fired their offensive coordinator, Cam Cameron. They replaced him with a guy who's never called plays a day in his life in Jim Caldwell. Does that sound like a game that needs to be selected for a Soul Survivor? In Week 16, you've come this far. You think you're going to risk it on a game like this? I think not. We move on. The St. Louis Rams are taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Two teams that had aspirations of making the postseason just maybe 2 weeks ago. Now both of them have lost 2 weeks straight, and they're done. They're both finished, and so this is a game about pride. Two franchises with first-year head coaches for their teams, respectively, and Jeff Fisher for the Rams and Greg Schiano for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're looking to build their programs the right way, and it takes winning to do that. You want to build your program up the right way, you have to win. And so even though they're not going to make the postseason, neither one of these teams, you still want to win. You still want to infuse that sense of winning, that sense of confidence in your football team. The Bucs nearly imploded last week on the sideline because that's what losing does to you. It makes you angry. It turns guys against each other. You need to win. And so you don't know who's going to win this football game. Bucs, the last time they were home, they lost. The Rams, the last time they were on the road, they won. So you don't know what's going to happen in this game. Leave it alone. You look at the next matchup, the Cincinnati Bengals travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. This game in the AFC has the most riding on it in Week 16. That alone should tell you that this isn't a smart selection. You're going to get the best of what both of these teams have. Because a Steelers win means that the Bengals have been swept in the season series, and it's that much harder for them to make the postseason. A win by the Cincinnati Bengals and a loss by the Steelers would mean that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to the postseason in the 2012 season, and the Pittsburgh Steelers will not be going to the postseason. So it's huge. This is a paramount game, which means you don't even need to sniff near this game. This game stinks. Continue on. The Washington Redskins are traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. You might look at this game and say, hey, I haven't selected the Redskins all year. They're playing hot football. They've won 5 straight. This Eagles team is a disgrace. Why not? I'll tell you why not. This is a divisional matchup between two teams that are going to be handling some family business. Redskins are on the road. You know how I feel about family business and on the road. Don't do it. Don't you do it. This is my team. I'm a Redskins fan, and I'm telling you, don't do it. Continue on. The Oakland Raiders at the Carolina Panthers. 4-10 versus 5-9. Need I say more? New Orleans Saints at the Dallas Cowboys. This game is another one of those matchups where you just don't know. The Saints scored 41 points last week en route to a 41-0 blowout victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was family business, and they embarrassed a family member. So if they'll do that to a family member, what do you think they can do to the Dallas Cowboys? Now, the Dallas Cowboys have been playing some really good football of late. They look like a team that is destined to make the postseason. The way they've been playing of late, Tony Romo on this offense, scalding hot. They are absolutely lighting the scoreboard up. And Tony Romo has been playing some of his best football in his career. Look at them defensively. They've got some holes in that defense. But the offense has been making up for the lapses in concentration by this defense. This defense is giving up big plays. We saw it against the Eagles a couple weeks ago. We saw it against the Redskins on Thanksgiving. We saw it against the Steelers in this game. They gave us some plays. There's some plays that were left on the field by the Steelers. Nonetheless, the Cowboys have been getting it done. So you don't want to touch this game. You don't want to go near this game. This game is a no. Tennessee Titans at the Green Bay Packers. Now, of course, if you had the Packers and they haven't been selected yet, this could be somewhere that could be an option for you. I mean, Green Bay, they're playing really good football, and they still have an outside shot at still getting their hands on that second seed in the NFC, which would come with a first-round bye. Who doesn't want a first-round bye? Everyone wants to skip the wild card weekend and go straight to the divisional round. So the Packers have a lot to play for. This Tennessee Titans team, as you saw on Monday Night Football, not a very good team. They're not going to beat the Packers. However, I don't have the Packers available. I already used them. You probably have already used them. So I have a better game on the slate anyway. So you might have this option, and if you want to take it, by all means. But I have a better option. And you'll see that a little bit later, so I'm going to move on. Can't speak for you, but I'm moving on. The Minnesota Vikings are traveling to Houston to take on the Texans. We're talking about Adrian Peterson, pursuit of history, trying to chase down ED's record, Eric Dickerson, for those of you who don't know, record of 2,105 rushing yards in a season as the record for the most rushing yards in a single season. He's at 18-12 right now, and so he's going to need some gaudy performances down the stretch to get it done. This Houston Texans team is a defense that they can't stop the run, haven't been really doing a great job of it of late. I said all that to say this. Texans need to win to secure home field throughout in the AFC. Vikings need to win to try to stay in the hunt for a wild card spot in the NFC. Two teams going to be giving it maximum effort, all they have, leaving it out on the field, because if they don't, they'll cost themselves in the long run. So Translation? No. New England Patriots traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. Ding, 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 ding. This is your sole survivor of Week 16. I haven't used the Patriots yet. Remarkably enough, I have not used my New England Patriots get out of jail free card. Well, here it is. I pulled it out of my pocket. Here it is. I'm using it. I'm cashing it in Week 16. I told you I still had some in my back pocket, but I couldn't use them over the last couple of weeks. They played San Francisco. They played the Houston Texans. I couldn't afford to use it in those weeks, but now I can. They got Jacksonville. They're going to win this game. They're mad. They know they have to win in order to keep their hopes alive at getting the number 2 seed in the AFC and getting a first-round bye. They know that. They know what's at stake, and they're going to go to Jacksonville, and they're going to thrash this Jacksonville Jaguars team. Wouldn't be surprised if they put 40 on their head. But nonetheless, it doesn't matter how they do it. They just need to win, and they're going to win. I don't expect Jacksonville to be close in this game. They've been stinking it up of late, and so this is an absolute no-brainer. I haven't had an easier pick than this in a while. I mean, it's been a while since I could actually look at the sheet and say, oh, that's easy. Last couple of weeks, I've had to pull some magic out of my back pocket. Don't know how I've been able to do it because I've had to trust some teams that, frankly, aren't worth trusting. I wouldn't trust them to lose a game, much less win a game, and I had to trust some teams. I had to trust the Jets. I had to trust the Miami Dolphins over the last couple of weeks. And these are teams I don't trust to win or lose. I don't trust them at all. Yet I had to pick them. So that goes to show you that I haven't had it easy of late, but I've managed to win. This one, though, this one is money in the bank. Feel good about it? And there's no disputing that this is the easiest pick on the sheet. And so if you don't agree with me, you've gone mad. Now, you've probably already used your Patriots. That sucks if you did. But I haven't, so that's my pick for the week. But I'm going to continue down the slate of games just to show you that there is not, and I repeat, there is not a better pick than the one I've just given you. So we move on. Indianapolis Colts taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. This one looks like a gem from the outside looking in. Outward appearances, though, they can get you. Always remember, objects appear closer than they are in the mirror. Looking at this from afar, looking at this one from the mirror, this is an Indianapolis Colts win any way you slice it. But they're on the road at a Kansas City Chiefs team that, yeah, they're bad. They stink. But every now and again, at home, they show up, whether it's against Denver when they held the Broncos to 17 points and only lost by 8. Or it's Carolina and they score points and they win. They beat the Panthers. You just don't know what you're getting out of this Kansas City Chiefs team at home. Most times you're going to get a loss, but you just never know. And so the Colts need this one to clinch a playoff berth. So the Colts need to play their best football. I expect them to, but you just don't know. And when you don't know, it's a no. So you move on. Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. Family business between two bad football teams. One's 6-8, the other's 5-9, which means this is a crime. You go near it, you deserve to be locked up for making a senseless decision. So I'm going to move on, as should you. Cleveland Browns travel to Denver to take on the Broncos. This would be an excellent pick if you haven't selected the Broncos already. Again, I've already selected the Broncos, and I'm pretty sure if you've made it this far in the survivor pool that you're in, you've done the same thing. So this probably isn't even an option for you. But if it is, by all means, go right ahead. The Browns are not going on the road and beating the Denver Broncos. And the Broncos have everything to play for. They lose a game, a lot of Patriots to win and get back into that 2 spot, they're not getting it back. So they got to win out just to ensure themselves that they'll finish with a better mark than the Patriots and get that number 2 seed and get a first round bye. There's no way the Broncos don't come out and play some of their best football. They're going to win this game, but that's not an option for me, and I would much rather go with a home team. The Denver Broncos are home. They're going to win. I would much rather go with the home team than a road team like the Patriots, but guess what? The Patriots aren't going to lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars. This Browns team is much better than the Jacksonville Jaguars. Home or away, I don't care. So Trust me, what I've already given you is the best. We'll continue to move on. Chicago Bears at the Arizona Cardinals. The Bears are struggling. Struggling are the Chicago Bears. They're in absolute free-fall mode. This is the Bears. This is the rope tied around the Bears. And this is an anvil and a boulder that weighs 10 tons. And they're falling. They're falling. They are falling faster than the speed of light. And now they got to go on the road and play an Arizona Cardinals team that is terrible. That is horrendous. But they do one thing really well. They turn you over. And guess what Jay Cutler has been doing of late? Turning the football over. Last week, the Cardinals did something that I didn't think they could do. They won a football game at home against a bad team in the Detroit Lions. You know how they won that game? They were able to turn the Detroit Lions over and turn it into points. If Jay Cutler turns the football over, guess what? That's what's going to happen in this game. You don't know what's going to happen, though. The Chicago Bears should be able to get their act together, right the ship, and win this football game, but you just don't know. And again, when you don't know, it's a no-no. So you move on. San Diego Chargers at the New York Jets. No. 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 San Francisco 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks. This is some really good family business. I'm talking 10-3-1 versus 9-5. This is some excellent family business. You smell that? That's some good football. And you know what good football makes for in a survivor pool? A bad pick. Which means you don't need to go anywhere near this game. This game is an absolute no-go. Because this is some good football. It's going to be hard-hitting and physical. These two teams played last time was the most physical game I've seen all season long. By far, no one's been close. Maybe the Minnesota Vikings and Seattle Seahawks game. That was a physical game as well. But this game here wasn't for the faint of heart, and it won't be in this matchup. It's going to be good football, which means you need to leave it right where it is on this sheet, which brings me back to my initial point. The Jacksonville Jaguars at home hosting the New England Patriots is going to be your best pick for Week 16 if it's available to you. It's available to me, so that's what I'm going with. Now, I've given you alternatives if they're available to you. The Green Bay Packers at home against the Titans, that's a lock. The Denver Broncos at home against the Cleveland Browns, that's a lock. If you don't have the Patriots and you have one of those teams, by all means, I'll sign off on either one of those because both of those are winners. But I don't have those options. I have this one, and this one is just as good as those are, if not better. So I'm going with this one. I'm sticking to my guns, and my guns say that the Patriots are going to go into Jacksonville, steamroll them, come out with the victory. So you do what you like. But again, I've only been wrong one time this season, so I'm giving you the best that I've got. Anita Baker, I'm giving you the best that I've got. So here it is. Your sole survivor pick of Week 16 is the New England Patriots going into Jacksonville and getting it done, coming back with the victory. So in case you didn't hear me just now, I'll say it once more. Your sole survivor for Week 16 is the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots are
the sole survivor!
So, that's a touchdown. Throw it up. It's good. Let's tack on this quick extra point. Matter of fact, I'm going for 2. We'll go for 2 here. 2, everybody. I'm going for 2. 2. There's several different things that I want to touch on, so I got to go for 2. And looking at down the stretch in the National Football League, it's going to be fun. I've talked about that yesterday. It's going to be interesting. But looking forward to the offseason, there's going to be a lot of interesting free agents available. And one of them is Greg Jennings. It looks like right now that he won't be back in Green Bay. And with the emergence of Randall Cobb, you had to know. I had a buddy of mine tell me like 8 weeks ago, hey, Randall Cobb is looking really good. And I said, yeah, Randall Cobb is nice, but I like my Cobb in the slot. I don't know about you, but I like my Cobb in the slot. I'd love to have Greg Jennings back out wide, and I'm pretty sure the Packers feel the same way. That was before he went off on this torrid pace and this amazing tear where he just started catching everything, and he was Mr. Do-It-All for the Packers. And he forced Mike McCarthy to say, I want to get Randall Cobb the football as many times as I can in many different ways as I can in any way, shape, or form possible. And that's basically what Mike McCarthy said, and that's basically what he's done over the last 8, 9, 10 weeks of the season. I mean, we've seen him get it on runs. We've seen him throw the football. We've seen him in the special teams game. We've seen him, shine and be dynamite as a receiver. He's done it all. What can't the man do on the football field is the question. He probably could go play some DB for them if they needed him to. I mean, that's how versatile Randall Cobb has been for this Green Bay Packers team and this Green Bay Packers offense. So what that has done has made Greg Jennings expendable. And Greg Jennings is going to want to break the bank. And rightfully so, he's been ultra productive in his young career. So he's going to be available. He's already come out and said, hey, I don't want the Packers to franchise me. I don't want their franchise tag. I don't need their franchise tag. And I see the writing on the wall. I see it. They've paid James Jones. Jordy Nelson isn't going anywhere. Randall Cobb isn't going anywhere. Why do they need me? They don't need me anymore. They can go draft some guys. They got Jared Boykins out there still that they're developing. They don't need Greg Jennings anymore. That's what the Packers are thinking. And I think Greg Jennings sees it already. So he'll be moving on. In addition to Vic and all the other players that will be hitting the free agent market, add Greg Jennings to the list. He will be someone that is sought after highly in free agency. So I think that's something interesting, worth keeping an eye on. Also, what did I tell you? This is my last time talking about the Jets for the season, unless I'm going over one of their games. Because, frankly, there's nothing left to talk about with these guys. This is it. I'm going to say my piece, and then I'm going to move on for the season. What did I tell you? He's benching Mark Sanchez. Wow, what a surprise. I'm in shock. I didn't see this coming. And look who he's starting. He's starting Greg McElroy. Oh, I didn't see that one coming either. I'm so surprised. What did I tell you was going to happen? Tim Tebow will not get the opportunity to start. And I already told you why in a previous episode, way back when. He's not going to get a chance because they don't want to look like dummies. And so Greg McElroy is going to finish the season up as a starter for the Jets. Who didn't see this one coming? These guys are an absolute joke. And it wouldn't surprise me if both of these guys were fired. Tannenbaum and Rex Ryan. I think, honestly, both of them should be fired because they did a terrible job this season. But I'm not one for advocating guys being fired. That's not what I do. I don't want to see anyone lose their job because that's not how I operate. Now, even if these guys lost their jobs, can't really speak for Tannenbaum, Rex will get a job as a defensive coordinator somewhere. But, again, that's not what I do. I don't advocate for guys to lose their job. I just tell you if someone is going to lose their job and probably needs to lose their job. And in this case, these guys probably should, probably will lose their jobs. And I can't blame the Jets for wanting to go in a different direction if that's what they decide to do because these guys have been a train wreck. This whole Jets operation has been a train wreck from top to bottom. I mean, they're so desperate. They went out and sought the services of a guy like Braylon Edwards, who I actually like and think that he should have a job in the National Football League because I think he's a talented receiver that, if he's put in the right circumstances, can really flourish and help a team. But he was just ripping this Jets organization not even a month ago, and they go out and sign him. But you know what? That shows that they are able to be a bigger man, put things aside because they know they needed help at receiver. And so, it's funny though. He rips them and they go out and go get him. That's what the Jets do. But I'm done with them. And I'm also done with this episode. I thank you for joining me on the program on this Wednesday. Feel like we covered a lot of ground. Needed to be said, was said. And so, there's many ways to contact the show, many ways to view the show. There's YouTube. Louis T is the page. Subscribe. Every video I've ever done on that page. Most efficient and effective way to view or contact the show is through the YouTube page. There's Facebook. In the Lab Room is a Facebook page. Like it. Every video I've ever done is also on that page as well. There's Twitter. At In the Lab Room is the Twitter handle. Drop something on the Twitter feed. Would love if you followed me on Twitter. Would love to converse with you. So, by all means, do that as well. And then there's the inbox. inthelabroom@gmail.com is the inbox. Drop something in there. I'll see it. I'll respond immediately. If you go onto any of those social media sites and access my page, you drop a message on anything, it comes directly to the inbox. So I'm not going to miss it. So whatever you do, it's going to show up in the inbox. I'll respond. I thank you for joining me on the program today. It's been a good program, very efficient program, straight to the point. I like it. I like it a lot. And so, want to see you back here tomorrow on Thursday when we don't have Thursday night football to talk about. So it's essentially a free show. So I get to talk about whatever I want. So that'll be fun. And so, until tomorrow, want to see you back here, same time, same place. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of the family, and have a good one.